Hi, everyone. This is Joe Welsh from Core Restaurant Marketing. And today I have with me Tom Enright from Food Pro. Tom is a sales manager with Food Pro. And Tom, why don't you say hi to everyone here and talk a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for having me today. And I want to thank the Restaurant Association, RAMW, Core Marketing, and Food Pro for putting together changing strategies for changing times. And today, being on the video with you and conversation.
Okay. Well, why don't we just get into some of the questions? It's a rapidly changing environment. Last week we were all masked up. This week there's different rules and regulations. Everything's moving really, really fast here. But prior to the pandemic, how would you characterize the relationship between a food distributor and a restaurant?
It's a great question. So to step back, 14 months, what the saying, it was time to make the donuts. Everybody was busy being busy and really successful. And a lot of the businesses were doing well and profitable and a lot of customers. So, and a lot of surge of business in the economy. So that's what it was going on before.
Okay. Would you say the relationship was a spirit of everybody cooperating together or something a little bit different?
Yes, as senior key account manager, working with accounts closely, and especially large accounts, there was a collaborative, busy relationship, but always working very close. And it's interesting to see how some things shifted even deeper as COVID entered the picture.
Why don't you go into a little bit about that, Tom? Because I've seen it that everybody's had to change a working relationship. And how would you see it, or how would you characterize it now?
So, Joe, I see a lot more trust with an understanding with a restaurateur and a distributor. And I think that's the blessing of COVID. And the reason being, everybody went through something for the first time in their lives and never been through before. Everybody had the SOS, waving the flag, help. And we'll never forget that. And we learned together. There wasn't a playbook for this. We learned together. And so I think a trust and admiring each other, what we do for this business together. So,
over the past 15 months, everybody's faced a lot of challenges, everybody in the supply chain. But let's kind of focus specifically on distributors and restaurant. What do you think the toughest challenges have been for both distributors and for restaurants? And I don't want to say focus on the beginning part because we've certainly advanced much more than that. But let's say from the summer on, what were the challenges as you saw them?
Sure. So you touched on, and they're similar. So we're in the canoe together. So it's labor. Where's the general manager at? Where can I find, a strong executive chef? Where can I find a CDL driver to drive the load of food that someone ordered? And of course, you touched on supply chain, Joe. Right now with chicken wings, oil, that's all shifting. So the market costs changing daily, sometimes weekly. So everybody being ahead of the game for menu costs. You used to be able to do it seasonally, but really you need to be looking at it weekly and monthly for sure, but weekly, zone in on that. So then that's where a lot of training goes in, where we had the, you're saying the masks and the different changes that are happening now, but the training with the 6 feet, 3 feet and all that stuff. So it's,
you're right. There are the supply chain issues, there are the labor issues, and it's kind of like what we needed to do last week has totally changed this week because some other obstacles popped up in our way. And I think it's going to be like that for a while. So there's always going to be changes happening. How do you see the specific ways in which the distributors and customers can work together through these changes with creative ideas on how to attack them?
Great question. So this is changing strategies for changing times. This program that RAMW, Core Marketing, and Food Pro put together. This is one way right here. So at Food Pro, we have a team of consultants. They're salaried consultants. These are people that have been in the industry. So they know the language. They understand. A lot of them get behind the line right now with their knives and give ideas. So it's a consulting approach to help each other focus in on specific items. And with things changing, you said earlier, things are changing with different brands. So maybe one brand, the supply chain is tapped out. People need to be communicative with each other and let each other know maybe there's a different lane or different path they could go down, but it's a different item, different brand, but it's going to perform the same way. So,
you're right. It's a different item. It's a different brand, which also leads maybe to a different menuing idea.
right.
And the fact that you folks have chefs as part of your sales team, that makes it a great benefit.
Yes, yes, it sure does. Sure does.
If you go back a year, well, 15 months ago, whatever, um, everybody wanted to kind of get a prime vendor program, but many operators were reluctant to do that.
Right.
What do you see the benefits of prime vendor programs for operators in today's environment? And is it a productive thing?
It is a productive thing. And if there's one takeaway that I really implore everybody listening today is to find that distributor, find that restaurant partner that you both trust each other, and that 75% or so of the business is awarded, and why that matters. And again, I hope everybody finds that distributor that they're looking for. Why that matters is, that's what these chains are doing. That's what Applebee's is doing. That's what they're all doing. And there's a reason why they're doing it. It streamlines costs. There's efficiencies, less invoices to check in. And also back to supply chain, guess what? If you're committed to a distributor like Food Pro or somebody, they're going to go to bat for you and work on volume to make sure as much as possible that they have you, eyed on for the inventory. So at Food Pro, if you called me at 301-370-2593, you can text me, you can call me. My email is tenright@foodprocorp.com. For free, I'd be happy to have just a conversation, let you know what at Food Pro, what the prime vendor program looks like. But again, I just implore everybody to do it because it's such a tough time. It was never easy to run an establishment, but today's a whole nother time because when you partner with a distributor, you're partnering with their purchasing department. You're partnering with their operations, their marketing, their social media. What we've done together at Core Marketing Food Pro and RAMW developing this program. This is what we're providing for the industry for free to have conversations to help. And then from there, we can see where all the discussions go. But I do implore everybody, it really is a big separator between the chains and the independent. The independent wins on the food, but the chains, they have that marketing department already set up. So it's there for you. It's back to trust. And I think it's deeper now. So.
Something you mentioned, which is very important, at least I've always believed in it, is team selling. Yes. And I know that, like you said, purchasing gets involved in trying to meet the operator's need. You have a marketing group that tries to work in there as well. You have your corporate shelves. And when everybody gets involved, solutions come around a whole lot easier in that kind of situation.
That's true, Joe. That's true.
We talked about some of the basics, the supply chain and all those kinds of things, but you don't even want to call it the elephant in the room anymore, but technology has changed everything.
Sure.
How has technology changed the relationship from what you see with an operator and a distributor?
Sure. Everything is data driven. So numbers are the numbers. So, with determining what the top sellers are of items for different vendors, what we'll do is, or distributor, we'll go to the manufacturers on the customer's behalf to work on manufacturer rebates and deals like that. We have an app at Food Pro where you can order anywhere you want at any time. Everything's there with the pictures. We're used to everybody getting a prime delivery at their house every day. So websites, what we're doing here today, Joe. There's different Google Analytics. There's different ways to capture email addresses, texts, food, Facebook. It's just, as it changes every day, but it's more and more important. And that's a position in a restaurant that has to exist. And back to a prime vendor program, a lot of that comes in with the prime vendor program with different relationships.
It's many, and here again, I'll go back to before the pandemic, but restaurants, not a lot of restaurants really took advantage of the data, whether it's from their POS system or from various marketing tools that they have.
Right.
When you really start to look at that data, you can really start to run an efficient operation and a more profitable operation. And it's important to partner up with the right distributor that's going to help you understand that data, rather than just say, "Hey, I'm here to ship you goods." You know, you need that part of team selling.
Those days are over. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the days are over. Things have changed by the hour, by the week. Things are changing. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. One of the largest concerns that I hear right now is that with everything going on with inflation and all those kinds of things, it's really important for restaurants to get their menu up to speed. By speed, I mean the right items that are efficient to operate at the right price. That's really important right now because things are changing so rapidly.
Yes.
And restaurants are doing a lot of business now. I mean, they're packed, but they're gonna, they don't want to be packed and not make any money 3 months from now.
Hey, Joe, you called it the Roaring Twenties. That's what's happening right
Yeah.
now. About to happen. Yeah.
It is. It's the roaring 20s for sure. It really is. Okay, Tom. Tom, you've been a great help with information through this program, but also the knowledge that you bring to restaurant operators. That for an operator not to take advantage of the knowledge that's out there and think that they can go it alone. Yes, you can go it alone, but you need the help of others to really succeed and succeed well. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your knowledge in imparting it to customers here. And, this program is going to do a lot of good for restaurants in the area. So once again, Tom Enright from Food Pro. Thank you, Tom. All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Have a great day. Bye.